What's up, Rockstars? After looking at a Dragon Eclipse, watching some gameplay explanations, looking at their updates, I'm sad to say that I feel Dragon Eclipse broke my heart. If you didn't know, I was really into Dragon Eclipse. It was my top pick of all their games announced this year, they being Awakened Realms, because it looked kind of like a cutesy kind of Pokemon battler system, which seemed pretty cool. I'd get some neat little cartoony but very well-styled miniatures, and I'd be able to kind of play this kind of deck-building card game with probably my son and daughter, and just enjoy a quick little game like that. I've been on a real kick with wanting quick card combat games like DC deck building, stuff like that. Games I can just kind of get onto the table, play, have fun, and then it's over. It's not some big, huge thing. It's not some big save thing. Part of this is probably me coming off of Tenaris and Anthraspace Odyssey a little bit, but it's nice just to get a game out and be able to play it. I spoke about this a little bit with the Tebru system even. It's something I'm very keen on lately, just from my personal, what I'm playing. And so I was super excited for this. It seems really, really cool. I like the idea of, being able to collect these monsters and have them fight each other and do all this stuff. And these little cute little monsters and stuff. However, the more I've learned, the more I've seen, the less I like Dragon Eclipse. And it really breaks my heart. It's such a bummer to really be excited about something, see the potential, see how it just seems to fit what you want, which Dragon Eclipse doesn't need to match what I want necessarily. But see it kind of not work out, and for what seems like reasons I don't even quite understand, or at least I don't agree with. So let me go ahead and break down what those are. Okay, so I'll link down to obviously the campaign in the description below, and these two videos. Marcin and Co., Awakened Realms, they released a combat one and a story one. I've watched both all the way through. And then, of course, they have their campaign as well. So all that will be linked down in the description below. I guess I'll start with just both phases and then kind of the grand scheme of things. So this is a deck building game. And in fact, it's a deck building game to where they even give you the cards. They're all the cards that you're going to get, but they give them to you in booster packs that you open up, which is kind of a one-time thing, which is also kind of a bummer. I think there are better ways to do that than a booster pack. Though booster packs are fun to open for sure. But normally it's because you don't know exactly what you're getting, period. Nonetheless, out of this set I'll get everything. Anyway, so you build up your deck and then fight that against some enemy. I think it can be co-op, or not co-op, but competitive or solo, is my understanding. But either way, that you're fighting against this other kind of Pokemon-like guy, and so it's kind of like a boss battler, but with a deck building in it, which sounds super cool and unique. And sadly, after watching this gameplay, I can safely say I'm probably not interested in either form. To me, it looks really, really light, and in fact, so light that it kind of breaks down why you would even do a deck building. You see, when you do a deck builder, when you're making a deck, there are several things you're looking for. The two main things for me are combos and synergies. In other words, things that work off of each other. One thing leads to another. Oh, I can go here, and if I go here, then I'm able to do this, which then allows me to have this, that then allows me to do this. You kind of have this combo or sequence of events. You also are looking for synergies. In other words, if I'm this way, then this is enhanced like this, which allows me to do this other thing more often while also being able to do this. So it's things that work well together in either essentially sequentially or actually kind of almost all at the same time. Because I am this way, I have this, which then drives this, and etc. So they're kind of two sides of the same coin, but I've always viewed them as kind of differently. Ideally, your deck builder does both, because when you're looking at cards, you have to make a decision. I want this card over this card. Which card am I going to pick? Well, this one synergizes with the other cards I have, or this one can combo off the other ones I have. And I'm not seeing that here. So at least in this fight, which is kind of how they've decided to show it first off, it's really two things, maybe three. Move and attack, or maybe, hear me out, attack and the move. That's right. Man, thrilling. Which card do I pick? I don't want to attack and move, or move and attack. And of course, you're picking this out before you're even in the battle, so you don't know which one would be useful, which I guess both are good. Or maybe you just attack and like get some energy. Of course, every card you use also gives you energy, so I guess it gives you more energy so that you can then attack. I know, crazy stuff. The energy is used for a few different things. It's kind of like a resource you constantly always get that then you can like use on stuff. Now it might get a bit more complex. Maybe you can take the resource from another person and convert it and stuff like that. But either way, there's just so little going on with it that even when poor Marston here is kind of showing it off, and I know it's like a demo and all that stuff, but he's just kind of like meh about picking the attack. He's like, well, let's see, I could attack and move. I can move and then attack. I could charge my resource or move and charge my resource. And I'm just like, wow, what so enthralling gameplay. So it's kind of a bummer. It just doesn't seem that complex at all. And I don't see it getting too much more. Now, you could have some nuance in there, but I didn't really see a lot of that either. The enemy, you do know the next attack they're going to do. It's pretty much deterministic for a large portion of it. There was one thing where it's like, if this happens to be in slot 3, then it instead of getting 2 resources, you get 3 resources or whatever. And maybe there's cards that allow you to swap position with other cards. So you can, maybe either way, it looks like probably the lightest deck building game I would own. And I own several, and I enjoy them, and I enjoy the genre. But it's because I like making tough decisions. I like thinking on the fly, shifting on the fly, doing this and then trying that, trying this way or that way. And from what they showed, at least in this video here, I saw none of that. None of that. Additionally, even though the enemies are going into like lay down tokens, but I can see this being pretty similar to, other tokens. Like, so this guy lays down tokens and then you get damaged if you're near them once he does his ultimate. So he's just kind of laying it down. It's kind of like a minefield. But I can see some where there's spider webs and they're laying down the spider webs over, and then they make it to where you can't move if you're near them or on them or whatever. And it just doesn't seem like a lot. There's no like terrain or anything like that I can really see. Again, they're laying down tokens. You can go get a blueberry to heal from. And obviously this is a prototype. They'll have little miniatures, and I'll talk about those later. But yeah, as for a deck building game, this one seems like a snoozer to me. Just a snore fest. I'm not impressed with that's not how to get me. That's not how to get me. It would be hard to make decisions on that, but that's just because I just move and attack and move. Pick one. Like, I don't care, whatever, flip a coin. So that's already a bummer, but that's only half the game. The other half of the game, and in fact, where more of the meat is, this almost seems like a tacked on combat mode to their story thing, and they do love their story stuff. So they released this as well. And really what this is reading out of a book and then doing card manipulation. And then that's pretty much it. You're just messing with your cards a lot to be able to do different things or accomplish different things. And there's some neat and interesting ways that you're kind of messing with those. But it is pretty much just the normal read, be able to do something. Yay, you succeeded, go and then do this. And then, of course, with the theme, I'm not sure story is like I'm not expecting The Last of Us here, right? Like, this is this is not The Sopranos. This is not like some like really enthralling thing, I imagine. I can't see this being like, oh man, I'm buying Dragon Eclipse because I'm into that crazy good, well-written, tight, never seen anything like it before stories. I mean, it's just not when I see like Ancient Path's Odyssey and I'm like, I look at that, I'm like, I want to know the story there. I never played Pokemon for the story either. Like, that's not why I'm there. So it almost seems like there's more mechanics there, which is kind of nice. I'm not inherently against it, though. It is a lot of card manipulation. Definitely need to have these suckers sleeved, that's for sure. But I also don't like, as much as I don't like skill checks where you're just like, oh, roll 4 up. Oh, I rolled a 4. Yeah, I did what I wanted to do. Continue. I also don't necessarily want it to be a big song and dance to be able to do what I want to do either. This is close to where I want to be able to like do the story and not have a whole lot of fuss over it. And so this isn't necessarily the game I'd play either. Like I said, I'm more interested in the combat thing, which seems a little tacked on. So suffice it to say, seeing these videos actually made me not want it nearly as much, which is kind of a huge bummer for me. Like, I was super excited for this. And after watching these, man, it's a bummer. Now, there is another issue. There's another worry I have, and it's something I see actually quite often. See, when you're buying this game, now granted, prototype, right? So they don't have all the components out, though, and the components are different. Like they have generic, like that's your health or whatever, and these can be whatever, but they'd just be like tokens or stuff, right? This is half the game. That's the other half of the game. A very, very small game. And I'm all for it. Like I said, I want a kind of cool little filler game that I can play in half an hour and be able to set it up and tear it down within that half hour. Like, let's just knock it out, have some fun, and then put it back up on the shelf. I don't need to worry about it. I don't even feel like I need to leave it on my table for 3 months because, I'm continuing this gigantic campaign or anything like that. So super cool. Really dig that. My problem is, when they release stuff like this, it seems to seem like a large miniature, and how many miniatures you're getting. And then I see stuff like, oh, the tokens, I guarantee the tokens are going to be healthy. You're going to have little health miniatures too, and there's just going to be all these giant miniatures. There's been mention in the story of these giant ones, and I'm fully expecting there to be a giant mini. And the reason I say this is because it's been done before. Here's Marvel United, another very cool little filler game that looks like a lot of fun, but when all is said and done, your filler game costs you $400 and takes up 4 Calyx cubes worth of space. And then it's just like, that's not what I want from my filler game, as cool as it is. Now, granted, a lot of people just like Marvel for the minis, but a lot of people like Awakened Realms for the minis too. They're not bad minis. And then, of course, they did the big giant mini too, where it's like, hey, here's this nice little cool little filler game, kind of lighter on gameplay. You can knock it out, you can have a little bit of fun, and then you can go about your day. And then there's this giant mini. And it's the same kind of thing here, where I'm worried there's going to be several giant minis. Again, I don't know the size of this, and he might be small, but I'm worried they're going to have big ones if they don't, if that we haven't already seen one anyway. So it just seems like between the drafting being so lackluster, between them choosing a style of drafting that only works once when it comes to packaging, which is, again, their choice, of course. When it comes to being so miniature heavy on something to where you don't really need them at all in this mode, and in here it's just kind of 2 guys moving around a hex board, laying down some tokens every now and then, and moving and attacking, or maybe attacking and moving. So, do I need 40 minis for that? Do I need 50 minis for that? Do I need a giant mini for that? No. And they probably won't force me to buy it either, and that's cool. I worry the focus is selling the product, and when it comes to like having that much product, when it comes to like selling that many expansions and having that many minis, it's like that's just a business vehicle for money more than like here's this great miniature kind of filler, fun, quick to table, quick to play, enjoyable to experience game, and then and that's it. And then we'll move on to the next one. No, it's got to be on GameFound. It's got to be crowdfunded. It's got to be this huge, massive thing, and it's got to be some mega blockbuster that makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you do that through not just appealing to people, but having a way higher price than you normally would for a game like this. So it kind of reminds me of like you could pimp out Monopoly, right? Like a Monopoly. Monopoly's probably too advanced. Maybe Clue. You can get Clue, and you can like pimp it out and spend $400 on Clue and have all these different tokens and 3D representations of all the weapons and premium foil cards and do all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you're just playing Clue. It's a super expensive, needlessly large version of it, but it's there. And at this core, that's all it is. So that's my worry. That's where I'm at right now. I'm still going to be watching it. I'm still interested. Especially to see their actual campaign and to see if there's something, hopefully, that is far more nuanced and complex than the attack card decisions that Morrison had to choose from here. It was, it's boring. Oh my gosh. And it's not necessarily Morrison's fault. He's not exactly the most like, oh my gosh, kind of like ADHD kind of guy. Which it's fine. Actually, it can get kind of annoying sometimes. So he's not like super like excited about it when he's playing it. But what is there to get excited about? You moved and attacked. Hot dog. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Have you seen these? Again, I had to link down to them below. Feel free to check them out, see for yourself. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on games like this, where they become this like big thing, and whether or not that fits the purpose of the game. When these campaigns just have to get bigger and bigger, and then I see something small and I get excited, but I also get worried. It's the Awakened Realms. They love minis. They make them all the time. They're already showing these dragons that seem to be large. In the lore, they're talking about large guys. And I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if we need 2 or 3 bigatures in this thing. I don't know if I want to store it for this game. Let me know your thoughts below. I would love to hear them. But for me, I'm a little sad because I was super pumped for this, and now I'm pretty hesitant. But until next time, and I'll let you know if I change my mind. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys. Bye.